Hi Leo, it's Sloan Rhodes here with your Love and Romance reading for mid-November through the end of December 2018. Leo, this is for Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. I know a lot of people like to look at their Venus sign for love. And if you don't know what those are, I have on my resources page on my website, sloanrhodes.com. There's a link below. I have a couple links to two different websites where you can find out that information. Okay, so today I'm going to be drawing one card from the Sacred Geometry deck, and then one card from the After Tarot. It's for Leo. Mid-November through the end of December, my last love reading for the year 2018. That doesn't belong in there. Leo. What's going on with Leo for love? Okay, here we go. Phase Mandala. What a beautiful card. Number 2. Well, I mean, I feel like here, Leo, that there's something cyclical that is going on during this particular time frame for you. It's like you're watching the phases of the moon, and so be very aware, certainly of the lunar cycle during this time frame, but also of your own particular cycle. And is there something cyclical that keeps coming around for you in love? Do you find that you keep kind of repeating patterns, or do you find that at certain times of the year or the month that you tend to behave in a certain way or do things in a certain way? And you may even want to try to get out of a cyclical pattern that feels restricting to you, like you going in a circle and you're wanting to break out of that. There's an opportunity here, but you have to feel your way into when you can break out of it. You know, we see here the cycle here, the phases of the moon. Then we see the full moon up here, and it's almost like there's a portal, you know, but you have to feel your way into it. And when you get to the portal, then you can be free, you know, and there's one that's down here as well. This feels like negative space, and this is positive space here. And negative not in a pejorative sense, but just in terms of it's like an artistic feel. And they're in balance, you know. So there's a time to rest and a time to shine. You are Leo. You're associated with the sun, and you do like to shine. But normally, you are the one directing. You know, as the sun, you are shining your light upon everything. But here, the moon, the lunar energy, reflects it back to you. So what is being reflected back to you? There's a great opportunity during this particular time frame, Leo, in love in particular, to see where your partnerships are reflecting back to you, essences of yourself, aspects of self, and where your environment is. And do you like it? Or do you want to make some changes there? Again, it's as I feel it for you, it's a more reflective place, and it really does have to do with others, how others see you, how your environment is reflected back to you, and where you can make changes. It's kind of like looking in a mirror, because the moon is reflecting back your light back to you, and it's a more passive energy, and you may be more accustomed to being more sort of directive, you know, associated with that solar masculine energy. And here it's all about the lunar feminine energy, being passive in a way that isn't negative. You know, it's beautiful, it's receptive, it's surrendered, and it's allowing you to see yourself and others in ways that are softer, not so harsh, but also a little mysterious, and maybe sometimes it may be a little anxiety provoking because you can't see it as clearly as you would like. So you have to have faith, and you have to feel your way in through your emotions, not through your will, Leo. Now, this is if you are single or coupled, the same thing applies. You know, we have this number 2, so we're very much focused in on partnership here, how another views you, how you see another, and are you seeing another clearly? During this particular time frame, there may be quite a bit of ebb and flow. You know, I'm really thinking of the tides and how they are, you know, directly related to the lunar cycles. And so you may be feeling this fluctuation during this particular time frame in how you feel about another, or how you see another feeling about you, and it may be frustrating for you. But again, there are portals that you can go into here to retreat or to see more clearly, but you have to feel your way into that. And it's really a portal into self, but it could also be a portal into the relationship. Very, very heavy emphasis here, Leo, on trusting your intuition and being open to inspiration as opposed to trying to make things happen. And the deeper you go into what can be perceived as the darkness, as the stiller moments, even the nighttime when you wake up in the middle of the night possibly and you can't sleep, in those moments where you feel tense or anxious, there's a tremendous opportunity for spiritual insight in the negative space. So when you're not out and about, if you can, if it's comfortable for you, or even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, spend some time in quietude. Spend some time just for a moment even without reaching for your phone or without reaching out to another or without reaching out to Netflix, if you're alone, or to an activity. Allow yourself a little time just to be, to allow inspiration to come in here. It may take, for some of you it may be more difficult and more anxiety provoking, and for others of you it may feel more natural based upon the work you've been doing. It's a journey towards self, absolutely, but it's how you are being reflected, how others see you and reflect that back to you, and how how you see yourself reflected in others, and how that allows you to create some changes. Because again, this can feel very cyclical, very circular, like am I just going always doing the same thing? Well, you're not always doing the same thing. There's a way to look at it differently in each and every moment. But it's just a matter of paying attention, and you may not be paying attention, so you have to kind of feel your way in. Is there, you can ask yourself, is this, say you're at a bar and you're meeting someone, and it's like, is this the same person that I've met 1,000 times before, just in a different form? Or am I doing the same things? I'm getting the same result. Or can I do things a little differently? Can I wait a moment? There's no right or wrong answer here, Leo. It's all for you. Your exploration of self, how you are reflected in the world, and how others are reflecting you back to you. If you find that there's a lot of mystery, a lot of confusion in your relationships during this particular time frame, you can even ask yourself, where am I confused? Am I being as clear with myself and what I want? There's lots of ways to play with it here, Leo. It doesn't matter if you're single or coupled. This lunar energy is very much at play in this idea of the lunar cycle coming in, ebbing and flowing and all of that. It may be a little bit of uncomfortable energy for you in many ways, but some of you may find it to be a relief not to be center stage in the spotlight. And if you are coupled, allow the relationship to kind of ebb and flow without worrying, And if you guys need to take a break from parties and this and that and being the it couple, it's okay. It may be difficult during the holidays, but you don't have to say yes to every activity, and you can go within a bit more. And what phase of life are you in currently? Or is your relationship in? If you are single, don't despair. It's just a phase. There's always a new phase coming in. Sometimes we can despair because we feel like, I think I've said this in my spiritual self-mastery class, Ego and Heart, that I release every Sunday. A lot of times there's a saying right now, like, is this my life? No, this is your moment, A lot of times the ego comes in and it's like, this is my life. My life is I'm always going to be single. I've always been single. It's been years since I've been with someone, blah, blah, blah. Or weeks or whatever it is for someone. But it's just the moment. The ego constantly likes to look at time and look at something as meaning something big, when in truth it's just a moment, and you can easily move more swiftly out of a phase that isn't your preference into a phase that feels more joyful, and then that can be reflected back to you in your partnerships because you're feeling more joyful. I hope that makes sense. Let me get another card for you, and then I'm going to close out your reading, Leo. I think this one's gone a little long. Okay, here we go. So this energy is present through mid-November through the end of December, and at the end of December, as we go into January, what we have to look forward to, regardless here, what happens after, is quite a bit of activity, quite a bit of communication. Things get busy, things pick up. Again, this energy is very passive energy in a way that feels beautiful or can feel beautiful, and this energy picks back up very active. Again, more communication, more travel, more activities by the end of December. So if this causes you anxiety, like, oh, I'm always, doing nothing, or I'm always in this place of quiet and more reflective kind of energy, don't worry, it's going to pick back up by the end of December, absolutely, in a big way. Again, it could be travel, this kind of thing. And if you are single, it may be that you travel and meet someone there, or that there's just a lot of communication back and forth, maybe a crush. Sometimes this is referred to the arrows of love. And it may be you who's doing this, moving back into that more masculine solar energy here. So what a fun read for you. I hope it made sense for you, Leo, and I wish you much love, and I will see you either at the Sloan Academy, where I have my online courses. There are links below, or the audio podcast, or at the weekly spiritual self-mastery class. Where else? Or the audio podcast. I think I said that all these videos are available on the audio podcast, so you can listen to them as well. All right, much love to you, Leo.